Welcome to the Greener Gifting Gang podcast, the show that delves into the reasons we love to choose, wrap, and share gifts with each other. Hi, I'm your host, Eve Kale, founder of Gift Wrapped by Eve, and I'm on a mission to help you experience the joy of gift giving while also considering the planet. Each episode, I'll be sharing ideas or interviewing guests who will help inspire your choice of gifts and how you present them. Whether that's for your own gifts or products you create or sell in your small business, we'll help you consider how to make small changes that can help your gifting be a little greener. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Greener Gifting Gang podcast. And I am here today with another fantastic guest. Today, I'm joined by Melanie Brown from Mel's Little Luxuries. And I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with you about gifting in your own life, but also gifting in your business, because that's something that we have been working together on. So, Mel, can you introduce yourself to the listeners first of all?
Yes, thank you so much for having me here. I'm Mel Brown. I'm based in Solihull and I have a business called Mel's Little Luxuries. I make natural handmade soaps and body care. And in addition to that, I'm a certified skincare formulator. The whole business essentially started because I was trying to find something to help my daughter with her skincare at the time. She had a really bad dry skin condition, and I was a bit worried about what she was getting. So it led me to researching what I could use on her skin, and I found something that helped her. And I thought, this is the avenue to start my own business, and here I am today.
Amazing. You're not only selling the products for skincare and things like that, you're actually making them as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, amazing. So tell us a bit more about that. So what kind of products do you make?
At the moment, I make natural handmade soaps from scratch. So I'm always looking for beautiful ingredients like shea butter, coconut oil, olive oil. I also make body butters, balms for the feet as well as for the lips, and also face masks. And with this new qualification that I've just recently got, it's opened up the world for me because it means I can create new products, things that you would go into the shop and pick off the shelf. And the beauty of it, it's all natural, no chemicals, because that's my whole ethos.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you're creating something that's really, yeah, really special, something that, well, like the name sort of suggests,
Yeah,
little luxuries, I guess.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it started off initially for my daughter, but when I started selling products, primarily sell online, but occasionally I'll go and do exhibits or shows, or if someone invites me to do a fair. And the majority of my customers are ladies, but what I was finding was they were saying they didn't have time. And I was
mm,
trying to teach them they've got to carve out those little pockets of time, but it's 5, 10 minutes a day just to use these little luxuries for themselves because they matter.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so do you find now, so you're mostly selling your products online, is that right?
That's right,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. And yeah, well, let's delve into that a little bit more because, obviously we're a podcast about gifting. Um, but yeah, so the people that are coming to you to try the skincare, they mostly buying it for themselves, or do you find that people choose your products as gifts as well?
It's interesting. Some of them will buy it as gifts or pamper treats for relatives. Last Christmas was really interesting because I noticed that the majority of them were buying them for sister-in-laws. Yes, so it's really interesting. But in the summer months that are approaching, you'll find that a lot of parents are approaching me on behalf of their children to buy something for the teachers.
Yeah,
Or occasionally they might have a friend who might be feeling a little bit down and they want to buy them something special to show that they matter, and they want to buy something just to pep them up a bit. So I found that's a new thing that's coming in. And even though I say it's women, I'm also getting men who want to buy gifts for their wives, but sometimes they don't know what to buy, so they'll contact me for ideas, and
yeah.
then I can put something bespoke together for them.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it is, it's one of those things that's kind of on the list of options when you're choosing a gift, isn't it? often we want to treat people, don't we, when we're choosing a gift? And something that is handmade is always a great option because it just feels more thoughtful.
Definitely, I agree with you there because I think, whether it's soaps or whether you're knitting or whatever the situation, the person who's putting that product together has spent a lot of time making sure that they're using the best materials because they want whoever receives it to feel special and realize that they do matter.
Mm.
So I just love handmade. I think it's the best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've tried over the years to make gifts myself. I don't think actually there was one year when I used to be part of a toddler group and run a toddler group, and we used to gift the mums something at Christmas time. And we used
That's
to
lovely.
make different things. And we made various different things over the years I was running it. I think we made lavender bags one year that could, and we made Christmas decorations. Anyway, one year we did make a hand scrub, and my kitchen
I love.
was very sugary. It
I
was
can
like,
imagine.
yeah, it was a sort of sugar hand scrub, and of course we were just sort of making it up as we went along from a recipe we found online somewhere. So I love the idea of making handmade, but I mean, logistically fitting it in to busy life. I always have these ideas and then they don't always happen. So choosing a handmade gift that somebody else has made is,
Yes,
is the next best thing, really.
that's so it's a beautiful, thoughtful gift to give to someone. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. So how about gifting in your own life? What kind of
Yeah.
occasions do you give gifts? Big
So for birthdays, to teachers, I love wrapping, especially at Christmas, just watching the kids, even though they're a bit older now, but
yeah,
they still, it's like watching young children again.
yeah,
They just love unwrapping whatever it is and the anticipation, trying to guess. So yeah, around Christmas, birthdays, again, I often do it for my friends if I think they're having a bit of a downtime, then I'll
yeah,
wrap it up, something for them. And even in my networking quite recently, if I've made something and I've got some left over, what I'll do is I'll cut them into smaller bits and then wrap them in paper and bring it along to the networking. And it's just amazing watching the ladies sit there thinking, what's she brought along? What's that? And then watching them unwrap it and then smelling the soaps, the essential oils that come from it. So
yeah, yeah.
yes,
That's a great idea.
it's a good way to introduce them to the product because, as I said, the majority of what I do is online, so they can't feel it, smell it. And if I bring, say, for example, a basket of samples to them, they can pick it up, feel the texture, smell it. It opens a whole new world to them.
Yeah, yeah. So the interesting thing is that you were saying that you had wrapped them, so you'd made it into a gift. Yeah,
That's right. So I've wrapped it and then put the string on there and
yeah,
tied it into a bow. And they're looking at it and they're thinking, what's that? And you can just hear the curiosity before you put it on the table for them to take out one for themselves. So I think it makes it lovely, just makes it special for them.
yeah. I mean, we all love that element of surprise and mystery, don't we? That's one of the reasons that we just love gifting so much, I
Yeah,
think. And we
yeah,
definitely in the UK we love giving for so many reasons, for no reason as well. So I think we all love that feeling, that childlike feeling of, oh, what is it? And then
that's
wrapping
right.
it, don't we? So you've really tapped into that. That's fantastic. And do you enjoy the process of choosing gifts when obviously you're not giving things that you've made
Yeah.
yourself?
I love choosing it because I love the way of going around and thinking about that person's character, what would best be suited for them. So I think I spend a lot of time just doing the research and then wrapping it up and then watching the surprise on their face when they get it and they're so grateful. I just love doing that.
Yeah. And do you have your sort of list of go-to places that you go and choose things from, or how do you go about it?
I think with me, it just depends on the situation. So I look at that particular person. So if it's something sporty, I might go and do my research in a sports shop and see what can I get them. If it's stationery, again, I'll look for the local stationery shops nearby, which, because there's a lot that are handmade. The covers are crafted.
Yeah.
So just looking and seeing what they would actually appreciate. near here, we've also got a big farm. It's really popular. When my kids were small, I used to take them there and they could go on the rides, etc. But they also have a lot of gift shops there, so you can look around and see what's there. And a lot of it's handmade as well, so you're always finding something unique. I
Yeah.
love
So you tend to kind of look to support smaller businesses
that.
and handmade businesses. I mean, of course,
Right.
when you're a handmade business yourself, I'm sure that you know how much every sale is appreciated.
That's right. Because I mean, it's lovely having Amazon there for convenience,
Yeah.
but when you want something to matter for somebody, I really think handmade says it all, that they're highly regarded, you respect them, and everything is unique. Not all the things that are handmade, they're not all the same. So you're showing people, look, you've got this unique product because I think you're unique and you deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. So, have you got any examples of the kind of things that you've bought recently that were handmade?
So back to that stationery, there was a special notebook that I bought for my daughter because she's always scribbling away. But what I didn't like, she'd get the books from the local stationery shop and the covers would fall off or it'd look a bit dog-eared or tattered. And I found a place quite locally to us where you could get these lovely covers which were made by the lady. She stitched them on. And it was quite interesting because my daughter really appreciated it because she's seen me do it, but she's also into design and technology. So she knows the effort and time it takes to put things together. So just watching her, when I gave her this book, which was obviously wrapped up beforehand, it was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So just watching that element of surprise, you say, and just that appreciation of the time and effort that went into the book because she was actually looking at the cover to see how they made it and she's looking at every little detail. And I don't think you do that, for example, if you just got a simple box of chocolates, you just open the box, put the box to the side.
Yeah.
Whereas with handmade, you're looking at every single angle of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you for that example. So you were saying then, of course, you'd wrap the gift as well, and do you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, but when I first started off, no, because I couldn't work out the proportions. Sometimes when you're wrapping something, you can't get it properly centered. There's always an extra bit. But since doing the course with you and looking at the videos that you have,
Yeah.
it's just really exciting because you realize you can wrap anything and what you've done, you can remove the blocks. So I love it because now I can get a strange shape and wrap it. And one of the things that I also love doing is including a little card inside it, especially when I send out products to my customers. One of the things that I'll do is I'll put a thank you card in there. And they appreciate it because without me even asking, they'll take pictures and put them on social media and then tag me in it. And then sometimes I'll think, oh, what's this? And then I'll see, spread out all the products, show them the wrapping, and put the card up there. So I really enjoy the process now.
Oh, wow, that's so great to hear. Oh, that's amazing. So you've been taking the idea. So you've been in the membership and we've worked together as well, haven't we? So yeah, it would be great if you could share more about what changes have you made?
Well, especially with the way, for example, like a simple box, the way I line it now, following the method that you showed us, including that little bit of ribbon, you couldn't imagine the ribbon would make so much difference. I use all my brand colours. So, for example, that one where the way I line the box, put the products in, put the thank you card, put the bow in, and it's quite interesting because I saw three photographs where people got back to me, um, and they really appreciated it, and they were saying things like, "Wow, this is amazing." A lady, all she needed to do was take one photograph, and she must have taken about four different angles of this box, which I thought was, amazing. So it
Yeah.
shows if you can, have that little bit of patience, just learn the proper way to do it, using the steps that you've shown, you can achieve really great results.
That's great to hear. I think, it's a relatively simple method that I showed, but you're
Yeah,
right. If you can get the hang of it, then it can have a really amazing impact on what your
yes.
customers receiving. And obviously, they've been taking photos and sharing it with you. So it obviously
That's
has had
right.
that impact. Would you say that it's got easier as you've gone along to do the method faster?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely easier because before I'd be trying to work out, as I said, the proportions of the box, the wrapping that I've got, and it would never be right. And I think if you just have fun with it, just follow the steps and just practice. And even if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. You're going to find the right way to wrap the gift that you've got there. And as I say, when you've done that, you've taken the time and effort, you get the rewards back. As I said, with those photographs, just hearing the positive comments from the customers that I've had. It's been really good. So it's
Brilliant.
definitely worth it.
Brilliant. And hopefully, the idea is that you're obviously it's great to send out things that look pretty, but really, I mean, from a business point of view, the idea is that these customers will have appreciated the effort you've gone to. They'll love the products obviously inside as well,
Yeah,
and then they will hopefully return and come back and
exactly.
purchase gifts from you again. So that's the goal, isn't it?
That's it. Because what I've noticed is you could be a bit like Amazon and just put products in a box and just send them out. But when the customer sees that you're thinking about them or who the box is going to, they'll realize that you're not just slapping orders or products in a box, you're giving it that extra thought. And since then, I've had a few, what's the word, reorders,
Yeah.
customers coming back. And before that, you really have to work at getting those people to buy the product. So the very fact that they're thinking, wow, this is something special. And I've had referrals as well from it, where the people will show the product and then come back and say, oh, okay, so and so has recommended me. Can you
Yeah.
put something together or give me the link to your website? So it really does make the difference.
Wow, that's brilliant to hear because I think there's this sort of perception that maybe you're going to get, if you want something done quickly, easily, go to the Amazon or the bigger companies. You just
Yeah,
click, 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 and it's done. Because often there's quite a lot of pressure around and choosing gifts and it being done quickly. But actually, you can get a really personal, speedy service from a small business.
yeah.
Yeah,
So when you just said that, I was thinking there was once I think I needed something for Christmas and I needed it really quickly, so I needed it wrapped. So Amazon gave me the option to do that. And when it came, it was just basically a sack and they just tightened it at the top. And it didn't look as appealing as, say, for example, what you've shown us as examples, what we can achieve if we follow those steps that you've shown us.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it does the job. They're not doing a bad job. It's just that it's not
Yeah,
very personal. And I
that's
think,
right.
and I think you're offering something that is personal, and obviously it's reflecting in the feedback that you're getting. So that's great. So obviously you do wrapping for your business, but when it comes to wrapping your own gifts, do you look forward to doing that now?
I definitely do, especially the odd shape gifts before,
Yeah,
like bottles or rounded bottles, if that makes sense. They kind of bulb out.
yeah,
Didn't love doing it before, but again, I remember when I started following you, that was one of the first projects you did. And I was thinking, how am I going to do this? And just watching how you just took your time and it was calmly done. And you just feel that your energy goes into the wrap. I know this sounds crazy.
Hmm.
So when the person gets the bottle, they look at it and I physically handed the bottle to someone and I wrapped it that way. And they were, wow, this is amazing. They spent more time talking about the wrapping than the gift inside. So it just shows you what you can achieve.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I think you're right. I think if we're feeling a bit grumpy about wrapping gifts, especially at Christmas, I think it can feel like that when there's a lot to do. But if we're thinking, oh no,
Yeah,
I've got to do this, I think you're right. I think it's kind of part of the process of giving the gift. If you can enjoy the process, I think you're
yeah,
right. I think it is part of the energy, part of the joy of gift giving is, wrapping it. It doesn't have to be complicated, but once you've got the knack of something like the bottle wrap that you're talking about, where you do the pleats with the tissue paper, it does have a bit of a wow factor, doesn't it? And obviously
it
people,
does.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they enjoyed what was inside after they
They did.
calmed down. Brilliant, brilliant. And how about the sustainability side of things? So obviously we've talked about how you do that in your business, and what changes have you made from that point of view?
But well, just before the course, I changed my wrapping for my soap. Before, many years ago, I used to use cellophane, but then changed it over to biodegradable cellophane. But I found when I was speaking to a lot of my customers, they just didn't like it. Even though I said it was biodegradable, they just couldn't accept it. So I did a bit of research with a local firm here, and they helped me to create biodegradable cigar bands, which go around the soap. And then also with the packaging, I've also started using, for example, like with the dry face mask, glass, small glass jars, so they can be reused again. So, and also, um, the I think they're called peanuts. I've forgotten the name of them that you put inside just to package it. I'm really careful what I'm getting and biodegradable shredded paper to package out the whole thing. So I've become really conscious because a lot of the customers are quite savvy, and some of them won't buy specific products if they know that you're not eco-conscious or eco-aware. So it's really opened my eyes as to how to present it to customers, and I think that's also helped them to come into me.
Yeah, I think it's a value that is becoming more, more sought after. And actually, I think it's becoming more synonymous with luxury. It,
Yeah,
in some ways, because I mean luxury can mean different things, but in your little luxuries, in your brand, you can be luxurious and sustainable as well. It's, luxury used to kind of make you maybe think of satins and silks and things like that.
that's
But
it.
actually you can have a different kind of luxury. And I think your
That's it.
brand colours and certainly what you've done with how you've packaged things up does reflect that. So yeah,
That's what I hope. I'm glad about that.
yeah. What would you say to somebody who's been thinking about being more sustainable, but they think actually it's going to be too difficult or too hard?
I don't think it's that difficult when you think of the benefits that you're giving to the environment, and you can do so many things. You can reuse things, especially with the jars where people do come back to me with them. I can sterilize them, use them again. So I'm saving money doing that. And I think, again, there's so many other options out there. We think they are cheaper, but in fact, they are more expensive. So, just do your research. There are companies out there that will explain to you what's available, what you can use, even the packaging for yourself that you might be gifting to other people. You can actually reuse it again, especially those little peanuts that I've mentioned. Rather than throwing them away, just keep them. You can use them, especially, I've forgotten the name of it looks like corrugated paper. And when you pull it together, it's almost like, pull it
Okay.
apart. It's almost like,
Honeycomb.
that's it, yes. That's a wonderful thing to wrap bottles with or whatever, rather than using bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's so many options out there. Just research it and just look at it, doing it. It's such a good idea to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of these things that we can we can go for the cheapest option, but actually we've got to think about the long-term goal, the long-term values that you want to project with what you're
Yeah,
doing with your products. Um, Sustainability is something that is a retail trend. It's something that people are looking for, and your customers
yeah.
are probably going to be looking for it. And obviously you're illustrating that with your example. So that's great. So in your own life, do you reuse and repurpose?
Definitely do that. Whenever something gets delivered to me, I'm looking at ways of opening it carefully so that I can reuse it. Because before I'll admit I was quite careless and just pulling things apart. And then when you see what you can do with it again, it seems such a shame to waste it. So
Yeah.
one of the examples again, that honey comb paper is absolutely amazing, shredded. I'm just trying to think of other things that I use. The jars, even when I buy jars in the shop for something else, I'll use them around the home. So when I finish with them, I just don't throw them away. I'll look at what purpose I can use that specific thing for. So it's so important that we do that. I really do believe that.
Yeah, I just want to pick up on something that you mentioned before about the reuse of the jars in your business. And so you sometimes get the jars back from your customers to
That's
reuse
right. They'll say
again.
to me, "Can I have some more of that specific product?" And then I'll put it in there. And one of the things that I want to go, even though I've got the tins at the moment, I want to go back to using the glass for the body butters. I initially started out doing that, but when I spoke to my customers, they wanted something small that they could put in their bag, and it seems a little bit dangerous to have glass in your bag. But some of them are coming back to me and saying that, would you consider having something that we can use in the bathroom or the bedroom, rather than just having these small tins? So I'm looking at putting that back in, and then when they come to the end of having it, the process of refilling it again.
Amazing. I mean, to be able to offer like a refill service is fantastic, and not
Yeah,
something that you can often get from a bigger business. So I
yeah,
think, yeah, again, another reason to go for the small business. Fantastic, fantastic. Um, so what about gifts that you've received yourself? You mentioned earlier the gift that you've chosen for your daughter that was really, really well received. But how
yeah,
about gifts that you've received from other
yeah.
people?
It's funny because I was thinking about when my kids were little and they'd try and put something together for Mother's Day for me, and they'd get whatever paper they could find. So whether it's newspaper or brown paper, and they'd use that and get a little piece of string and tie it together. And that, to me, it just kind of melted my heart, because I thought, look at the effort that they've made to create that for me. Again, I remember in my old corporate life, I had to go and do mentoring for a day at a local school. And some of the children went out and they got a box of chocolate, and they could have just handed me the box just like that. But again, they've made the effort to get some paper and wrap that up for me. So again, just watching that wrapping, I know it sounds crazy. People say paper, it's just paper, but it's the effort that's made to wrap it so that you feel special.
Hmm.
Those are the things that come to my mind. I loved it.
That's really interesting. So it's not the gift itself, it's the fact that they've gone to the effort of trying to wrap it in the best way that they can, because
Yeah,
it is a skill, and it's a skill that's more difficult when you're littler, because it's hard. You haven't necessarily got that dexterity
right. Yeah,
with your hands to be able to do it. And I always love it. My daughter now is very into wrapping, and she will wrap all sorts of things for us, that things that she's made,
yeah.
or little things that she's bought, and she'll spend ages choosing things and wrapping it in the way that she wants to. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because it is a bit of it's a love language, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is. I love
Yeah,
it.
so oh, I love hearing that. I think it doesn't, like you say, it doesn't matter whether if something looks perfect, it's the fact that they've gone to the effort to
Yes,
how they put it together for you. Fantastic. Well, I've really enjoyed hearing about how gifting shows up in your life now, but also the ways that you've made changes in your business. And I know the small businesses who listen to the podcast are going to be interested to hear about how you've made these changes that have had an impact on the success and the growth of what you're doing. So
that's
thank you
right.
so
Yeah,
much for sharing all of that with us. And where can people come and find you if they want to follow what you're up to,
yeah.
or even have a look at buying a gift from you?
So I've got a website, and that is www.melslittle.luxuries.co.uk. And you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and I've also got a YouTube channel, all in the name of Mel's Little Luxuries.
Fantastic. Well, we'll put all the links to everything in the show notes so people can come and find you and follow what you're up to. So, yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to me today, Mel.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you for having me here. It's been a great privilege. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Greener Gifting Gang podcast. For free resources, head to giftwrappedyeve.com/freebies and follow Eve on socials at giftwrapbyeve on Instagram and Facebook.